Aha. Hello, guys. Thank you all for coming. Sorry for some minor inconveniences. So today we have a special event. It's a Slovenia Games Indie Showcase, in which we will present 13 of Slovenian indie games made by Slovenian developers. And I'm really excited to see all the trailers. And later, after the whole presentation, we will also do some playtesting, give each other some feedback. And with this, we want to boost our community and give some constructive feedback to each other and to inspire everybody else. And with me is also my co-host Brin.
Hi everybody.
Will you do some short introduction, Brin, or?
Yeah, sure. I'm Brin. I'm currently studying game design. I make a lot of small games. One of my games is also going to be here. But if Rock didn't want to do an introduction for himself, I'll do one for him. Rock is the person that is making Slovenia Games, the community actually happen, and events like this appear on the map. He's been hosting a lot of game jams over the past few years. He's also worked at Outfit 7 and is now working at Tricky Tribe, so some local developers as well, not escaping from Slovenia like I did.
Thanks, that's fantastic introduction. And also this idea for whole indie showcase was also brought up by Brin. I think you took inspiration from NYU, right? New York University of Game Design?
Yeah, they have this thing where they test out each other's games every so often, and I thought we could do something like this for the local community as well. Then we decided to bring it a bit more, make it a bit more of a showcase as well, so people who maybe don't feel ready to have their games tested can also participate in this. So some of the games, like Rock said, that you will see today, you will be able to test them later in our Discord chat. Rock, maybe you can throw a link into the YouTube channel for the Discord.
I will definitely do, yeah.
And if you join that, if you aren't in it already, you will see a whole bunch of different categories, one for each game. And you will be able to find developers after the stream sitting in the voice channels of their corresponding games. So if, for example, you really liked Fluffy Flight, you can go and join the developers in the voice chat with them, ask them about things, ask them to send you a playtesting build, and every single game that you see inside of the Discord, should have a test build available. If you aren't sure where to go, we also have a waiting spot coffee place or something along those lines, where you can just hang around with the rest of the people.
And I think that was all that we have for our intro. And without further ado, next up will be NecroBouncer. And let's see the trailer. This was quite a start, right, Brin? I mean, it was quite full of pack-a-punchiness and juice and so on.
Exactly. I think this game is, you might want to mute the video. Yeah, cool. This game was made by Andraž, right? He's actually had a stream with us last year, where he showed off a bit of his process on how he does pixel art for this game. And it was really insightful. And if anybody else is interested in pixel art, I would really recommend checking it out. But the whole game, like the trailer says, it's like a roguelike game. So it takes inspiration from games like Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon. But I think the most unique twist from what I remember about the game is the fact that like you can actually use the abilities from the bosses. So all of the cool boss fights that you usually get in these types of games, you actually get to keep a part of that boss fight with yourself in this one.
And yeah, and it's, I mean, at least for me, like I have been like following development, like start like from small game, and now I think it's like really like huge and complete game. And later I think we also have I think Andraž also has like his Discord channel, and also like also post some stuff on his Tumblr, I think that's something that I showed, or Twitter. But I mean, each GIF that he posts, I'm like a fan of it. I mean, it's like full of like character, and like he really knows how to do the animation.
Yeah, and not only animation, right? Like it's a roguelike, so you end up with random generation in this game, and random generation, for anybody that has ever tried to do anything randomly generated in a video game, you probably know that it's hard to strike that right balance of each run is going to be different, but each run is going to feel balanced, each run is going to feel like it's actually handcrafted, and not just like you are literally throwing dice, because that usually ends up with like bad levels. So it's like both from a visual art point of view, it's a very polished game, and also from a technical perspective, it's not something that's super easy to do.
And I think we're ready for the next game, right? Which is Fluffy Fight. Do you remember, Brin, like when you first heard about this game?
Yeah, so this game, we're gonna talk over the videos, right? Because I don't think any of them have. Yeah. So this game was originally a game that won Brackets Game Jam in 2020 in January. And after that, the game, like the team behind the game, it's 3 students from Maribor, I think.
I think from Ferry.
Yeah, from Ferry. Started developing the game a bit further, started polishing the mechanics, and they're still here a year after making this game. Like I got to play a test build like a few months ago, I think, and it came a long way after the jam, and already for the jam, it was a really polished, really amazing game. It's going for like a very interesting mechanic where you are trying to fly through a level, and you have to poke holes into a balloon that is carrying your little bird or whatever character you end up picking, and then based on like what is this, physics or air or whatever, right? Like your balloon is going to fly into different directions, and you're trying to make sure that you are getting through the level and that your balloon doesn't completely pop.
Yeah, and I think that's like a perfect like I think they're making like mobile game out of it, right?
Yeah,
if I understand correctly. And I think it's like the mechanic like just fits, like, I can just like see like myself like just like swiping right, swiping left, like to
it feels natural on mobile, because like you are pinching in the direction that you are trying to like push the balloon in, right? So like you're trying to pinch the balloon. Well, you're going the opposite direction, right? So if I want the balloon to go this way, I'm gonna pinch it from this direction, and you just do like boop. And it makes sense. It works very well on mobile. Which at least for me, like when I'm making games, I find it very hard to think like, oh crap, you have to swipe and you have to tap, and where's the analog stick, where's the X button, right? Like it feels like something is missing. But this game doesn't like try to do any virtual joysticks. It just embraces the touch nature, which I think works out very well. Did you get to play this game, Rock?
I got to play like the original version from the Brackets Game Jam, but not the new one yet. So I am also set like for the post playtesting in our Discord channel.
So you're ready for the 1-year makeover of the game?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like they did like the whole visual overhaul, and I see like they also like did the they adapted mechanic for mobile. So I think that's gonna be really cool to test it out. Any more comments, Brin, or should we move on to...
No, I think we can move on to the next game, but it is worth mentioning, right? I think this game is going to be among the ones that you can test, and NecroBouncer as well. So if you did like these two games, make sure to join the Discord server if you aren't in it already, because that's where you'll be able to find the developers, chat with them, ask them for a test build, or ask them about their secrets. How did you manage to make this animation so cool? So.
And next up, Brin, is actually your game, one-button bosses. Will you tell us something more about before we see the trailer, or
no? Let's just show the trailer, and I can keep talking about it for 1 hour afterwards. But I don't think we'll have that much time.
Okay, let's go. Okay. Any comments from the developer side, or?
Yeah, real fast. Like I mentioned before, I find it hard to make mobile games, and this is my more serious attempt to make something that is more mobile. It's a game that you play by pressing one button. You are controlling a little triangle that is circling around a circular boss, and you are controlling it by just tapping on the screen or by holding down on the screen. And the idea is that you are controlling movement, the attack pattern of your character, everything simply by pressing that one button. So it's trying to minimize, it's trying to take everything that's cool about a boss fight and put it into a very minimalist control scheme.
You know what I think this game is special? I mean, probably for you, because I remember like when you came to like first game jam, what was it, 2017 or something like that? You said that you wanted to make boss games. I mean, games about just beating the bosses, right? And I think you through the years you developed, but I think that still shows that like the core initial idea, like I want to make like cool boss games, like how can I do like this kind of like encounters and such stuff. So I don't know, I really like it. I mean, I think it has the juice. It has like, you know, all of the like, you know, the freeze frames, the camera shake, the particles, like, and it's neatly packaged in this kind of like, you know, this small congestive game, which you probably could play, I don't know, like in between like the train rides or in between like some bus rides on your way home.
Yeah. Like that was a lot of times like the idea for me. Like I like boss fights in games. I want to make games that have boss fights. I played Fury, but that's about the only game that is only focused on boss fighting. That's not really a genre that's explored a lot. So it is a bit of like labor of love in that regard. But like you said, like it is a game that we're primarily actually looking to put it on Switch because from every publisher that we end up talking to thinks that the game is too hard for a mobile audience. So we're like, okay, we'll go like middle of the way, not PC, not mobile, let's put it on Switch. And then if it does well there, we can go other platforms as well.
Cool. Any more comments or
a test build is also going to be available of the game.
Yeah.
We actually have a test build that has been up for quite a while now, and it has high scores. So if you're a hyper-competitive person and want to compete with some other people, you can do that. But yeah, let's give some other people a spotlight as well.
Yeah, and about we'll shed some spotlight on the next game, which is Project Frontline, which is actually like an RTS game, which is you don't see a lot of them like in modern days, I guess. I mean, the last one that I played was like StarCraft 2, I guess, and that's about it. But I guess let's check out the trailer. Any
So-
thoughts, Brin?
Yeah, so I don't know a lot about this game. I haven't seen much of it before, but I think the keywords here in the end were action RTS. So it's trying to do, and through the gameplay of the trailer, you can also see that it's trying to do something more than just like give you the standard fanfare of a StarCraft style RTS, right? It doesn't seem like there's much of base building, but there is like buying units and capturing some sort of tower. So it feels like it's taking a bit of inspiration from maybe MOBA, like League of Legends and Dota, that actually came from RTS games. Because, like you said, we haven't seen much of RTS games lately, but we did see a lot of MOBAs, especially a few years ago, and that those games really gained popularity. And they do keep a lot of core mechanics of an RTS. They just keep it at a much lower scale. It's a lot more manageable. So maybe working from that sort of direction, seeing what works in a MOBA, seeing what works well in an RTS, and then trying to combine those things, going closer to the RTS part than towards just like control one hero and nothing else part, is a way to go when it comes to making an RTS.
I will agree with you, yeah. And I think I don't know, like this reminds me like so much of like, if you took like just like the Zerg armies from StarCraft 2, I mean, and put like more kind of like, I see there are a lot of like different animals as an like your units, right? Yeah, putting the StarCraft 2 and like putting the Heroes of the Storm, one of the MOBAs that also Blizzard made, right, together, and just like making something out of it, right? And I think, I don't know, I mean, from what I see, like it has a lot of potential, right? I don't know, like it's the graphics are, let's say, are like kind of like how to say, pre-alpha or like alpha footage, right? Not final, but like I think there's like potential here, like kind of like to further explore. And just to give more context, like it's made by 2 developers. One of them is Denis, and other one, I hope I'm not saying wrong, I think it's Jure. And yeah, and I first found out about this game on Discord server from 3DLU Slovenia, which you also should check out. They also have like quite active community there. So yeah, I don't know. I think I am. That's all I have to say for this game.
Yeah, I think like one thing that you said struck out to me about like the graphics, right? I think it's like even in the early stage of the graphics that they have, I think it's very clear visually, like what side units are on, which is probably very good for like this sort of game, right? Like for example, a little bit before this, we had very like purpley looking enemies. There we go again. And then you have like they have these accent colors on the characters that are probably recolored on like depending what team you're on or something along those lines. And that's really cool to see that like they are thinking about this sort of visibility things already. And I would imagine, like you said, like it's from a 3D modeling server that you heard about the game. I would imagine that it's also a bit of like a different procedure, trying to create a model that you will be reskinning later and putting into a bunch of different colors. But yeah, let's move on to the next game. But before we do move on, this game is also going to be available for playtesting. So if you want to see like what an action RTS with capturing tower looks like, it's going to be in the Discord server.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning this, Brin. I almost forgot, but yeah. So next up is one game that will relieve your stress from your everyday, and it's StressOut. It's an VR game, and yeah, let's just take a look how can it take the stress out.
Hello there. Come with me and lay waste. Smashing, crashing, sucking and shooting. Early access on Steam and Viveport in December 2020.
I think this is the only VR game that we have on the list, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. That's the only VR game. But I think Vito, who is the developer behind, will also provide the keys from the Steam page if you want to test it out. If you have a VR headset. But what I find really astonishing about this game is how the fluid all of the physics feel, right? Now we're looking at something everything's so fluid and it just exploding and bashing and you're you're pushing something around and you shoot something and yeah, it just feels that you're in real life, but having no repercussions whatever you do, right?
I haven't played this game yet. I saw quite a few gifs of it, and I talked to people behind it. And it's one of those things that it feels like the perfect kind of game for VR, right? It's sometimes you do just want to smash a window, and this allows you to smash a window. But it doesn't only allow you to smash a window; it allows you to create a chain domino effect that is going to smash a window, then fire a few guns, then make sure a piano falls on somebody. It's it lets you do everything. It's a playground of mayhem in a way. And I think that's really cool about it. I also think it feels like one of those games that has huge virality potential, right? You could see a TikTok or a tweet going viral where it's just yes, I'm picking up an NPC and putting them in the trash can, or I'm smashing windows and doing nothing else, because it's one of those things that's just satisfying to look at, right? When you see all of these boxes falling down, it's yeah, I could keep watching this. This is satisfying. And when you cause these sort of things, it feels even better. So visually, the game is amazing, but then probably playing it and being able to cause these visual effects would feel even better.
And yeah, if you want to support the developer behind, and I think the studio is called Armadillo. No, yes, it is, or VRmadillo, if I'm correct. Sorry, Vita, I'm probably butchering the name right now. But yeah, you can check out the games already on Steam. I think it's in early access. And I think that's it from my side. Do you have anything else, Brin?
No, like I said, it looks amazing. It looks like the kind of game that I would need sometimes on a Friday after a long week. So sadly, I don't have a VR headset though, so maybe I can test it out some other time.
Cool. And yeah, going from some store, I think we are moving into the outer space, and the next game is an Orbital Bombardment, which is a game by solo dev Dani, and I think he's been making this game for 1 year as his pastime project or pastime hobby project. And I think that you can find all of his early videos, and you can go through how he created the game. And this is one of his latest videos. So let's take a look.
Yeah, so just to mention, I don't think we have any sound on this video either, so I'm just gonna talk over it. But like you said, Danny has been making this game for quite a while now, and as far as I know, it's the game that he decided, okay, I'm gonna learn Unity and let's make a game. And he didn't only learn Unity, he also learned Blender to model some of the models that you've seen here. But it's kind of like a shoot 'em up, or like a shooting game, but you are orbiting around the planet. So we have a lot of circles and going around the circle. This is one button bosses, but in 3D, but without the boss, and you're shooting the boss, and it's shooting the planet. But yeah, it's like a tactical shooting game. If you would ask me to describe it from what I played it, it gives you a lot of choices in your loadout, in how you're going to go into battle, and then it lets you. You basically are orbiting around the planet, and you're trying to approach it from a tactical point of view. So it's okay, I see that the enemy has some shields. Which of my guns is gonna allow me to disable these shields as soon as possible? Or there are enemy projectiles coming at me. Do I want to put my energy into a shield, or do I want to try shooting those projectiles? So it's this. It gives you this fantasy, I feel of being on a Star Trek or Firefly spaceship, where it's okay, I'm pushing buttons to make things happen, and then I'm pushing some energy into the reactor core or whatever, right? Like it gives you that vibe of I'm in space and there are a lot of things to take care of, and I am controlling a very complex being.
And what this game like reminds me of, like at least gives me a feeling, right? Is controlling like an AC-130, right? If anybody like played the Call of Duty 4, like the campaign, like it's like when you're in this kind of like AC-130 bomber and you just shoot down the hell out of like enemies below. And I also talked with Danny. I think that this also like he was one of his inspiration, like to make this kind of like AC-130 like bomber, like, and then he just made it in space and so on. What I really like about like this game, because it's really if you go back, I think I tried like few builds before, like you need to build like there's like something new, and like he always listens like to feedback and how it like improves the game, right? Which I think is really really awesome. Like as you said, like I think he learned a lot here, like and the game also like progressed a lot. So yeah.
Definitely. It's like I played less builds than you did probably, but it's one of the things that like you can see the progress through the dev logs, and you can see the progress that's happening like every time you play the game. So I'd recommend checking it out. Give him some feedback. See how the game feels to you now. And yeah, I think we can move on to the next game. Like we said, this game, a lot of testing.
Also,
and it's also going to be tested today, so you should check it out.
So the next game, I think we're again going into space. It's ill space, and this game was like twice showcased at Slovenia's Games Conference. I think both, or the last time it won the Indie Game Award. I mean, it won the not the jury, I think, but the people's Indie Game
Audience Award, I think. Yeah.
Audience, yeah, that's the word I was searching for. And here we will see some footage. I think the latest footage from them. So yeah, let's dive right into it.
Yeah, so I think the first thing that we need to mention with this game is that it looks absolutely amazing, and it's one of those games that I will not be able to play because of my computer as much as I would want to. I did get to play it on both of the Slovenian game developer conferences in the past 3 years, because last one didn't happen. And it was really nice. And compared to Dani's game, which is more about flying, this one, if I recall, is also a little bit about, like, it's a bit about base building and then controlling that base. So like behind this satellite that's flying around, you have like a space station, like the one that you can see in the front shot, and you are actually building it up over the whole game. And it's, again, like Rok said, we're continuing the trend with being in space. It's like one of those games that does, again, give you like really this vibe of I'm on a giant spaceship, and that's so cool. And there are many things to press and many things to do.
Mm-hmm. And when you said like that your computer probably won't be able to like render this game out, I think the developers are also like collaborating with NVIDIA to like put in all of the latest, how to say, ray tracing tricks into the game. And yeah, it's really cool. And about the graphics, I think Rok, who is the 3D artist behind all of this, he had a talk, I think, last May, how he approaches the 3D modeling, and how he does all of these tricks about, like, I think there was some example of like 4K textures, then upsampled, and like all of this magic. And yeah, I mean, I like when I look at this game, like I would not like, it feels like kind of like a double or even like almost like AAA game, right? The quality is there, but it's made like by like two people, or like I think only two people. Yeah, and it's like for me it's like mind blowing. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it shows that they put a lot of effort and passion into the game, right? Like it's been in development for quite a while, at least 3 years now, as far as I know, and it's like continuously impressing people because like it, at least like the Slovenian scene, because it is like the game that keeps winning these jury awards and is the game that people like at conference shows. I want to mention if you okay, I maybe will be able to play this game according to CoolAndGoodGames in the chat, because apparently it runs okay even with like a mid-tier laptop graphics card. But I do want to mention, if you don't even have a mid-tier graphics card, don't worry. After the stream, these developers are actually going to stream some gameplay of the game inside of the Discord, and they're going to, I'm assuming, be hopefully talking to some people, showing the game off a little bit, because something sometimes breaks with the builds and you aren't able to provide an executable in the end. But we've all been there. I'm sure that they were hard at work trying to compile the game 2 hours, 3 hours ago, and then they decided, okay, this is not going to work out. Let's instead stream it. So you can check it out, even if you have a crappy ultrabook that barely plays the game.
Yeah, that's true. I think you said it like perfectly, Brin. Like, they had some problems before, but I think they will soon like put up some updates on their own Discord server. They have quite an active community there. I think you can request to join as a beta tester. So yeah, you can check their Steam page and also like Discord server. And without further ado, we will go to next game, which is a racing game. We will see this pattern in our indie showcase a little bit more later. Like a lot of racing games, I think we have in our let's say portfolio or like this showcase. But this one is kind of like a mashup between shooting and racing. So let's see.
So, Rock, not only is this continuing or starting the trend of racing games, it's also continuing the trend of StressOut, whereas it feels like if you could do this in real life, driving would be a lot easier, right? Like if I was able to drive around Ljubljana with a minigun strapped onto my car, 4 p.m. would be a lot more bearable in the city center. But I think this is a very cool concept overall, and one that is hard to execute probably, because combining racing, going fast, and like the perspective that you usually get with racing, alongside with shooting, doesn't sound like a easy thing to do. Like in my head, I'm just thinking like, where do you map these controls? Okay, you put like movement on the left analog stick and then like the shooting on the right analog stick. How do you control the camera then? So I'm definitely interested in seeing like how you control this game and how the gameplay actually works.
And I also want to add quickly, like it also continues the trend of like low poly games. I think we also have a lot of them like in our like lineup. As I said, go ahead.
Okay. In terms of just low poly stuff, I think it makes sense, especially if you're newer to 3D modeling. It's a lot easier to make something that looks decent that's low poly than it is to make something that looks decent that is, like ill space. Like I would not want to try doing that, but like a car, I could model like a low poly car, for example. Additionally, it's also like there's a lot of assets already available with this sort of style, and they fit well together even if you combine them with different asset packs. Whereas if once you start going more realistic, being able to get something that looks nice together, even if it's from different packs, gets harder and harder.
And what I also think is really cool, like I think developer behind the game, Marco, is also posting like all of his like development progress on itch.io via blog posts and also like making YouTube videos. So I think that's really encouraging and like it helps you like build like initial community, initial like kind of like use kind of like a boost and so on. And what's also the other benefit, like you see how other people like make, I mean, how they approach their game development or their game making.
And I would really recommend trying this sort of stuff out to people. Like, if you don't feel like putting in the effort for doing like a full development blog or a YouTube video, just put it onto like record a 15-second GIF, put it on Twitter for Screenshot Saturday. You might get some people like reacting to it. You might be able like to get some fan base from that. And if not, like the worst case scenario, you will have a visual progress of your game. So it's really nice to just see like how your game develops over time. Having like this sort of landmarks, like, okay, I will record like a 30-second gameplay clip every Saturday and post it on Twitter, is a very nice way of reminding yourself how far you've came, especially when you're feeling like a bit more time sometimes between development, when you're not sure how to fix a bug and you just need like something to boost your morale a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like it gives you some like deadlines and also like motivation, because you can see like you can track your progress. Like, oh, like a few months ago I was like there and now I'm here. Like it's almost like a game that's ready to play.
I think this one is also available to test today.
It is.
So
it is.
If you like cars and if you feel like they would be better if they had a minigun strapped on top of them, you can play it.
Next up, we'll go to like more eco-friendly game, which is actually, I would say it's like more like a gamified experience. It's a trash fighter, where you actually like collect trash, and it's more kind of like a mobile app or mobile app companion. And with collecting the trash, you're also like getting like new facts and new like puzzles. So let's just go. Let's dive deep into the video.
Welcome, recruit number 007. Our environment is nearing a point of no return and life as we know it will be just a memory. We need smart, good-looking and big-hearted heroes just like you to step up and start fighting on nature's side. To become a trash fighter agent, you need to first prove that you will attempt to change your lifestyle to do no more harm to any living being and help restore the health of our ecosystems. For the first test, you will go out to the streets and gather 16 puzzle pieces around your neighborhood. To successfully finish the test, you will need a preferably reusable bag and some gloves, so be sure to take them with you. Good luck and Godspeed. Now be on your way, time is of the essence.
So this is giving me a bit of a vibes like Pokemon Go, but also trying to protect the environment sort of deal, right? Like it's an interesting experience for sure. And like you said, it's maybe more of a gamification than it is a game. But like, let's not get into the debate of what is a game, because that's gonna take forever as well. And yeah, somebody's asking in chat if this is AR. I do think this is AR. Like you can see from the clips, you are playing with a camera on your phone, and then you're like getting additional information. But I think like what they're trying to do is that the spots, like the things that you're actually picking up, instead of like seeing a Pokestop in Pokemon Go, you actually try to find a real piece of trash and clean it up. So it's trying to combine, like, it's maybe leaning more towards like the real world aspect than other augmented reality games that we've seen so far, or at least like the popular ones that I know.
And what I think is really cool, like I think that's like the way forward, right? That's the way of the future. Like, you know, how you can convince like, you know, younger population, like, to maybe do something good for our like mother nature is like try to like gamify the process, right? Like or like doing that, or like maybe like, you know, I imagine like this being like, you know, like you could like compete with others, right? And then you could have like, you know, how you call it, I don't know how you call it in English, but like kind of like actions, or like, you know, when you would go to some spot and like, you know, you just clean like some area of like forest, or I don't know, like and I think it's like the perfect way. Like, you know, everybody has a mobile phone. You can just kind of like scan it as you see on Twitter, right? And then you can compete, or like you can like find like some other puzzles. And yeah, I think it's really cool. And one other thing that's really cool is that it's, I think, as you saw it at the end, supported by some European funds, which is always like nice to see.
Yeah, not only European, but also like Slovenia's government funding. I think like it has some of that. And just like in general, as advice for anybody, like there is a lot of art funding that is in Europe, and games are art. So apply for those art fundings, make your hobby a real thing. And the same applies for Slovenian fundings, right? Like apply to that, even if you aren't making a game about protecting the environment, right? Like if we all just keep applying, maybe then at one point they will realize that games are an art form and that they should give us some money. So yeah, apply for art funding. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think in like, especially in Nordic countries, that's like more popular. Like, you know, that's like their kind of like government, or like even in Poland. I know I talked to the developers there. Like in Poland, that they're like super popular. That some small studios like apply for like some funds, and they by that they kind of like they really boost up the industry and in the community around. But Poland also has like some of like really like big companies like CD Projekt and so on. So yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, it's still worth applying. It's still a sort of thing that like it really helps the industry grow, because it helps like create new businesses and not just have like big ones that consume everything. Not that there's like bad about having like a big company in the country, but it's like it helps foster newer studios as well. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. A test build of this is available. I saw in Discord they have a test flight build. So if you have an iOS device and you feel like going for a walk after listening to me and Rock for 1 hour, you can probably download their app and you can pick up some trash on the way.
Yeah, and the next one, the next game is like, for me, one of the really like cool games. It's actually called The Gap. You'll tell us even something more, Brin, or like...
No, I think like the best way to show it is just the trailer, because it's more of a narrative experience, and then we talk a bit about the development.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so this was The Gap from our local developers, Jan and Sara. It's a narrative experience, which I think like the more you say about it, the more you spoil it. But I think it's trying to like discover like past memories of somebody, and trying to like you're solving like a sort of personal mystery in a way. I think they will be releasing this thing soon. I know that they have a Steam page up, and I know that you can wishlist the game. So if you like what you see, you can go and wishlist it on Steam. Just search for The Gap. But I think like what's worth noting about this is that this is also one of those games that we saw on. I saw it like 2 years ago at the very least on the Slovenian game developer conference, and it's a sort of game that like you always see, and you just see it getting better and better. Even won a Maze Festival nomination or honorable mention. I'm not 100% sure.
I think it was a honorable mention for the Amaze Festival, yeah. And what I really like about this game is, as I mentioned, like it grew or it developed so much, because I remember like I think this was started as kind of like a diploma project or something like that. And then like through years, like Sara and Jan, they improved like so much. Yeah, like even like the visuals are like, for me, are like unreal. Yeah, which is kind of like a pun, because the game is made in Unreal. And each time like when Jan like shows me like some of like his shader tricks or like how he did some like visual stuff, like I'm like amazed and blown away. I think like this game really has a potential. So yeah.
Yeah, it's an absolutely like good looking game, and it's I think the first one that we have here in the list that focuses on a narrative that isn't just like that isn't focused on the gameplay, but it's more focused on telling a story. So maybe like if you're more of a fan of games like Life is Strange or What Remains of Edith Finch or stuff like that, right? This might be the type of game that you would enjoy. And it's good to see this sort of stuff in Slovenia as well, because we do have like some good books. We do have some. So we have some movies, and it's nice to see that we're trying to explore storytelling through video games as well.
I think, Sally, there won't be a demo for this game, or I need to check again twice with Jan. Maybe there will be like short demo, because this is kind of game like when you play it once, you see it all, right? Like it's. I mean, it's really narrative focused, so yeah, there's like not a lot of like replayability, right? But I think still it's an amazing game nonetheless. I mean, I like this game because like I can like sit down and maybe have like I can do it like maybe one playthrough, like or like some Sunday, like I can take 2 or 3 hours and like just really like dive deep, and then like I'm like mesmerized by the experience.
Yeah, it's like sitting down and reading a movie or reading a book or watching a movie in that way, but it provides like more of that immersion that maybe like watching a movie would not be able to give you.
Yeah.
Demo will be available, says Jan.
Yes. Yeah. Jan just mentioned, yeah, demo will be available. So yeah, there will be that. And next up, after this narrative immersion, we'll go again to racing. So it's next up is again a racing game, which is more focused on like sliding and like more on drifting. So let's take a look. Give me a second that I fetch up the video. Oh, sorry, give me a moment. Technical difficulties.
Take your time.
Wait a minute. Okay, maybe we will skip this one because I cannot find the file currently, and we will go to, again, it's a driving game, but it's more kind of like a summerish one. In the meantime, I will find the video for the Powerslide Legends. I'm sorry, Peter. I will find the file. I know that you sent me. And yeah, let's take a look at Breezy. Give me a second, and here we go.
Yeah, so that's Drive Breezy. I haven't seen this game before, but it looks really interesting. It looks like it's combining photography and driving, and it's trying to create like a really chill summer aesthetic, even with the soundtrack that's like city pop, I think, and it gives you this vibe of like, yeah, you're just cruising down like a road next to the sea. There's a sailboat on the side, and you want to take a photo, but you're not sure how to take a photo because you want the car to be in the picture and you want to be driving and everything at the same time. But now this game can like give you this fantasy of driving a car and taking a photo of the car at the same time. So it looks cool. It looks very chill.
Yeah, for me, like, it reminds me of all of the like family like drives, like when we went to Croatia, and on the right you always see like the sea, and like it has this kind of like feeling of like like, and then you would like try to take a photo of like, oh, we are the sea in the first, I mean, we are like close to the sea, and then so it has this kind of like nostalgic vibe, at least for me. I mean, that's reminding me of like family trips to the seaside.
I would agree. Like it gives you this cozy, breezy aesthetic in a way. And at least the trailer was very good at creating this sort of a vibe. I'm not sure if this game is available for playtesting, but at the end of the trailer, it does mention something about their each page. So
yeah, I think they will have each page up, but they also have a demo. So demo will be provided in form of exe file. But yeah, I think like I want to see like more when how to say I want to see like what's like, if that can be like even like some more deeper gameplay, like you don't know, and you need to like kind of like can you like score the pictures, or this like more kind of like a Zen like game, like so you will see, I guess, at the playtesting what's up.
All right, so let's move on to the next game then.
Yes, and now for real, we're going to the Powerslide Legends. So we'll bring up the video. Give me a moment.
Yeah, that was Powerslide Legends. I think, I'm not 100% sure, Rock, maybe correct me on this, but the developer of this game may have some, like, there's a lot of driving games in the Slovenian development community for some reason, which is super cool. I love to see you all go fast, but I think this is the one that has some maps that are based on Slovenia. I am not 100% sure though. But it definitely has more of a simulator vibe, like a simulator racing game compared to the other racing games we've seen so far. Like, I don't see any miniguns on the car. I don't see anybody taking top-down photography of the car. I just see like cool, fast racing. So we have like everything on the range from arcade stuff to very much simulations and trying to give you the feeling of being able to have that like super expensive car and driving on an empty road super fast.
Yeah, I think that's not that's the other game that you were talking about. But yeah, this one, like, it's how to say, like, it also has a lot of like videos and how to say, the progress. Like, I mean, Peter also like posting the progress on his YouTube channel. So yeah, it has quite a history, right? And like he also posts like his development videos on Slovenia Games Facebook group, and it's really nice to see like his progress. And yeah, I think maybe I did. Wait, now I see that maybe I opened the wrong video. But so yeah, but
yeah, one
now I
thing to
lost my
mention.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. One thing to mention about this game is that I think there's you can find it on Steam already. So
Yeah.
if you want to wishlist it, you should be able to do so by searching for Powerslide Legends on Steam. So if you're into going fast on some beautiful maps that are not based on Slovenia, because I was wrong, and that should be clear because there's palm trees there, you should be able to find it on Steam. You should be able to wishlist it. There, like Rock mentioned, there's a Facebook group that we also have. I feel like Facebook group and Discord are kind of like the two communities that we have in Slovenian game development. So if you aren't in either of them, or if you prefer one over the other, feel free to join. And you will be able to see people posting progress of the games that they're working on and get some discussion going. Now let's move on to the next game, maybe, or is there anything else you want to add, Rock?
No, I think that's it. And yeah, and there will be Steam keys if you want to test out the game. Yeah.
How can people get the Steam keys? Where can they get them?
I will post them on the channel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So in the Discord server or in the YouTube chat, in the Discord
yes,
server, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And now I think this is going to be the last game for this indie showcase. And I think we are about right at 1 hour. as we anticipated. So the next one is Mystery Waters. This game was, I think, I first saw it on Global Game Jam in January, and it made quite an impression on me. It's really visually stunning. So let's see.
Okay, so this looks like I haven't seen this game before, as compared to you, Rock, but it looks like it's a puzzle game. It's trying to combine a bit of like narrative exploration alongside with puzzle solving, maybe more like a point and click adventure sort of vibe, but not really point and click, right? Like you're exploring a world underwater to try to find and solve puzzles. I don't know why, but like over the past few years, we've seen some like water-based games, right? I feel like water is the sort of thing where it's like, oh shit, water level, I hate that. But there are some games like Subnautica, for example, that make exploring underwater areas amazing. So hopefully this is the sort of game as well where it's gonna be like, yes, I want to go underwater. And we can see that everybody on the yacht is also being like very in tune with the times, keeping a mask on.
Yeah, for me, it also like gives a lot of like this Subnautica vibes, but with some kind of different like puzzle exploring mechanic here.
Yeah, Ivan said in the chat, it's nightmare fuel, but in the best way possible, right? Like that's the sort of vibe that I get always like when I go diving at the seaside. It's like, yeah, this is amazing, but like creepy at the same time, and I'll probably have like weird dreams about some gigantic rusty structures now, and it's gonna end up badly, but this is great. So maybe if you want to like solve puzzles about like things rusting underwater, this is the game for you.
And maybe one interesting fact, like I think last time that the developers presented this game on Global Game Jam, I think the ground is actually like photo scanned from Slovenian coast. I think, but don't quote me on that. I think it is. But
I hope we don't have pyramids in the Slovenian Sea, though.
No. These pyramids are.
I have to go diving if we do.
The pyramids are like modeled, but everything else. It is photo scanned, and it's also like one of the team behind. It's from Ptuj. So yeah, they're quite. I mean, I haven't heard them from them, but I heard them like in January, and they're making quite some progress. I mean, they're quite. I think they come from different industries, but they are quite skilled in animation and 3D.
Yeah, but I mean, like games are the sort of thing where it combines a lot of different industries and skills together. So it's always good to have people on board that are maybe not directly coming from game development, because this sort of skills are always useful. So is this it? Is this the last game that we saw?
Yes, this is the last game we saw. Yeah.
Okay. Then cool. I think what the procedure is going to be. First, either me or Rok is going to spam the Discord channel into the chat again. So in case you don't feel like scrolling up, or in case you still aren't inside of the Discord server, you should click on that link, get into the Discord server. And if you want to chat with the developers, if you want to test some of their games, there are text channels and voice channels created for every single game. So if you want to test out, for example, NecroBouncer, there is a NecroBouncer category with NecroBouncer text and NecroBouncer voice. You can jump into voice, chat with Andraž, ask him about the game, or you can just ask for a build in the text channel. I would highly encourage everybody to try going into voice channels when you are testing. And I would also encourage developers to test games from other developers, right? So even if, for example, you made one of the games that we saw on this list, you made one of the games that we saw on this list, feel free to jump around, like test out some other things, be inspired by different genres. Or racing people, you guys can like compare each other's racing games. I don't know, like compare your cars. That's what people do, right? Like one of you can say mine is realistic, and the other one can say mine has like a minigun on it, so mine is better. But yeah, you can join this chat and stick around. I'm gonna be in the testing Kafich voice channel, so if you aren't sure where to go, you can join me there, and I'll try to lead you somewhere. Again, I'm not really sure how many people are watching this, so I'm not sure if it's just us developers watching each other. I encourage developers as well, like go mingle around, talk to other people, test out their games. They're probably gonna test your game as well later, because if not else, like they're gonna feel bad if they don't. So go test somebody else's game.
Brin, you said it perfectly, and yes, as Brin said, we're gonna be in this cafe, and if you need any more info or any like technicalities, just ping us. Rokos and Brin, Žvan. I think you're just Brin, right?
Just Brin, yeah.
Discord. So thanks everybody for coming, and we will end this stream here, and we'll hop on to Discord. So see you there.
See you on Discord.